Do you want to buy a semi this year? If yes, I want you to really follow along because I'll be talking to you about the cost, the needs, the considerations, everything you need to know about buying a semi truck this year. Let's have a conversation about that. Now, here are the generalities I want you to really pay attention to. The thing is, whether you are an experienced owner operator or let's say a driver who's just starting a trucking business, purchasing a semi truck can be a great investment as long as you have the right methodology in place, as long as you have the right approach, the right business plan, the right considerations. Okay, you have to also have a solid business plan because see, the whole thing is that a semi truck is not a regular 4x4 that you just buy. It's a consequential investment. So you spend a little bit of money in this whole vehicle. So you got to be clear as to what kind of model, what kind of make, what kind of year you're looking for, and what kind of market, what kind of loads you want to haul with a semi. Okay, because when it comes to having a semi truck finance, you have a lot of possibilities, but also the vehicle itself can also help you take care of a lot of shipping initiatives, shipping projects. Okay, so as you research how to buy a semi truck, I want you to really pay attention to price. I want you to pay attention to regulations. I want you to pay attention to operational suitability. In other words, is your business properly set up to actually have a semi this year? Do you have the proper licenses? Do you have authority? Are you doing OTR? If you're doing OTR, do you really do you abide by all the OTR regulations? Okay. Are you also thinking about maybe working through a third party, a dispatcher? Do you have also a freight broker, or are you really sourcing your loads yourself? Probably you're going to load bars, or you're going through private shippers. So those are things you really need to think about. Okay. Now, here are a few things I want you to really factor into your choice when it comes to having a semi. The amount of money you have saved for a down payment, because chances are a lot of lenders will ask you for a down payment, how much of a payment your business can afford to pay monthly or weekly, right? It's all about those monthly installment, those weekly installments, and also how much risk you are willing to take with potential repairs. So if you're thinking about buying a semi truck this year, it's important to understand that you have several steps. Okay, you have the acquisition, you have the criteria to really look for in terms of insurance, but you also have like the post, like everything about repairs. Okay, let's talk about the acquisition first. So let's talk about buying a brand new truck. So if you're interested in buying a brand new semi, you have to understand that you want to really budget for somewhere from 175 to 250 grand. Okay, $175,000 to $250,000. So that's actually the cost of a typical new semi truck. Okay, now why do you have what do you have the interval? The interval actually is there because depending on the make and model you choose, you might actually pay $250,000 or 175. Okay, now let me talk to you quickly about the pros and cons of acquiring a brand new semi truck. The pros first. A new truck is usually covered by a warranty, probably 5 years or 10 years. In some cases, if you have a good brand, you might have even 15 years. A lot of brands are really are behind their vehicles, so they're okay with giving you a 15-year warranty. A new truck often has less risk of needing repairs, so you might actually be spending less time at the garage because the vehicle is brand new. Okay, and a new truck is usually spec'd with the latest features. So features in terms of technology, features in terms of the engine, features in terms of like if you're looking for something bio, like let's say you want to have a, let's say electric, whatever. I mean, you have a lot of features. So those are a few pros when it comes to buying a new semi. What about the cons of buying a new semi? Well, a new truck will probably cost more and require more down payment. So if you're looking for a down payment of 10% or 20%, 10% of $175,000, that's 17,500. 20%, that's 35,000. So that's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash to think about, because if you are an owner operator, you got to really have the cash in addition to allocating funds for something else. And also, a new truck will lose value as soon as it's actually driven off the lot. So something to really think about as well. What are the what should you think about in terms of buying a used truck? Well, you can generally expect to pay between $20,000 and $115,000 for a used semi truck. And the pros and cons: the pros, a used truck will most likely have smaller monthly payments and require less money down than a new truck, and a used truck will likely have less strict credit score requirements. And the cons: a used truck warranty usually expires earlier and doesn't cover as much for repairs, and a used truck may need to be upgraded sooner than a new truck. So if you're thinking about buying a new or used semi truck, you gotta really understand that there are a few things that you need a few conditions, if you will, that you need to fulfill to actually qualify. So let me talk to you about what you need if you want to buy a semi truck. So what you need really depends on the company or dealership you purchase the truck from, as well as your business, how your business will pay for or even finance the truck. Okay. So if you're lucky, let's say if you're lucky and you pay for the truck with cash, that's actually the ideal option. So the truck dealership may require proof that you have a Class A CDL, right? You got to have a Class A commercial driver's license. Since you are buying the truck outright and don't need financing, the vendor won't need to check your credit score or even your previous buying history. So that's pretty good, because it gives you a lot of flexibility on that front. So that's if you are paying for the truck in cash, okay? If you finance the truck, then you have more conditions. So the lender you finance through will usually require you to have a down payment. So again, it can be anywhere from 1% all the way to 40%, depending on the lender. So the lender will set the percentage of down payment you have to put. So the down payment varies based on your credit score. So the lower your credit score, the higher the down payment. There is an inverse relationship between the down payment and your credit scores. So the down payment will vary based on your credit score, how long you've had a CDL. The longer the CDL, the better. And if you have any commercial lending payment history, in other words, if your business credit score is it's pretty good, okay? So your PayDesk score, your Equifax business credit score, and your Experian business credit score. So other financing requirements actually vary from lender to lender. So some things you may need to provide include, but are not limited to, proof of insurance. So POI is really critical. Proof of insurance, business filings, whether you're an LLC, LLP, C corporation, S corporation, loan approval, a Class A CDL, and also truck information, including the make, model, mileage, and conditions. So let me talk to you about the criteria here. So if you're thinking about buying a semi truck this year, what should you look for when buying the vehicle? Let's have a conversation about that, okay? So basically, it really depends on the kind of configuration that you're looking for. I will be talking to you about two things here. I want to talk to you about if the cost of the truck actually fits within your business budget, and if the truck actually meets your business needs. Let me first talk about the budgetary aspect of things. One thing for sure, there is a good chance sales representatives are going to ask you how much you can afford to spend on a truck, right? It's one of those things where it's also a part of their sales approach. They want to see how much they can actually qualify you for it in case you have to go for financing. So you have to know your answer and you have to commit to it. Okay, if they ask you basically how much you can afford to spend on a truck, you got to have a number: 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000. It really depends. Okay, depends on your budget, of course. That's number one. Now, if the truck meets your business needs, so that's really the second criteria I want you to pay attention to. If the truck meets your business needs, so you want to go into your purchasing history, and that's one of those things where you got to be clear. Go into your purchasing experience with an idea of how you want, of what you want actually, what you want in a semi truck. Now, there are many things to consider when it comes to finalizing your choice here. Are you looking for a day cab or sleeper truck? Are you looking for a manual or automated transmission? Because that really will be very important. Are you looking for a specific make and model of truck? And also the type of freight your business hauls and how often you get home will determine what truck you need to really get. So if you want to buy a semi truck, you also want to think about the engine aspect of things, the operational suitability. Okay, that's really important from let's say from an efficiency point of view. So if the truck fulfills your must-haves, every owner operator, including you and me for that matter, has must-haves when it comes to a semi or just a tractor trailer, right? Regardless of the equipment you're getting, you have certain must-haves. Big question is, what are your must-haves? What are the things that you really can't really compromise on? What are the pieces of equipment that you want to have 100% in the truck, in the semi? It's always a good idea to create a list of all the things your truck absolutely cannot go without. That way, you're pretty sure that you're not going to compromise, and you should not compromise. So, some of the most common things owner operators find important include the way the truck handles. That's important in terms of maneuverability, right? Maneuverability is critical. The way the truck handles, what the truck looks like. So there is a cosmetic aspect of the whole, let's say, truck driver life. Okay, the truck. Some drivers love the truck to look a certain way. Some don't want it. Okay, and also how the truck rides. So this is actually another version of maneuverability. So how the truck rides. Also, the MPG of the truck. So we're speaking here about the miles per gallon. So this is actually important in terms of fuel efficiency, right? Fuel efficiency is critical, especially if you are trying to really save money on fuel. And what features the truck comes with, especially safety and cost saving features. So that's one of those things where you want to really be clear. You want to clear on from the get go. So if you're not really sure what type of truck is right for your business, it's just better to do some research and actually talk to other owner operators about what trucks they've had success with and ones they have not. Or you can just let us know in the comment section and ask your questions. Tell us your state and city and the kind of make, model, and brand you're interested in, and we'll give you our 50 cents. So if you're thinking about buying a semi truck this year, you want to think about driving history. You want to think about operational history of the truck itself. So if the truck has a good history, here I'm speaking here about the vehicle itself, but also the brand overall. So if you think about MAN truck, or you think about Volvo, you're thinking about the Mercedes, like whatever truck you're getting, you want to make sure that the history is important in terms of operability. Okay. Let me break it down for you. If you are purchasing a used truck, it's always a good idea to run a history check on it. Okay, so if you are buying a new truck, pay attention to the history of the brand behind the truck. That's important. So you always want to do your due diligence. So if I go back to the used truck, and then I'm speaking about running a history check on it, you can actually get a holistic view of the truck's history with information like accident reports, maintenance reports, upgrade lists, and all changes. Okay, and some people actually they like to go a little more granular, depending on the level of detail you want. Also, if the truck is in good condition, I mean, I'm talking about good condition, not only in terms of mechanical condition, but also in terms of maneuverability. Okay. So if you are buying a used truck, once you confirm the truck's history, you can also evaluate the semi's current condition, right? So current condition will really help you whether or not everything is pretty clean, everything is pretty legit, everything is pretty straightforward. So you want to check the overall appearance of the truck. That will give you an idea about what you can expect. Think about mileage. Think about the sound of the engine. So this is important in terms of like whether or not you spotting very early on some problems, and also you when you actually check the truck itself, see if there is any damage, either visible or less visible. So most sellers will let the buyer drive the truck around to see how it rides. Some will even let you take the truck to a mechanic to actually confirm everything checks out. So when you think about buying a semi truck, let me give you a few questions that you also might want to think about before you actually finalize your decision. One thing for sure, purchasing a semi truck is really a huge investment. I told you a little earlier, you're looking at somewhere from 20,000 on the on the buy end of things to $250,000 on the new end of things. Okay, so if you buy the wrong specification, this could really cost you future loads, and this is not something that you wanna have. Okay, and so it's one of those things. Also, you have to understand used semi trucks are considerably more affordable than new semi trucks. That's for sure. Okay, but the question is, do you have okay? Do you have budgetary problems? In other words, if you going with a used truck, a used semi, then you got to ask yourself how much you can afford. Okay, so but the good thing is overall, going with a used semi truck is way better from a budgetary point of view. You won't have to worry about significant value depreciation, and you can research the reviews about the model you are buying versus a truck model that hasn't been out for long, right? So you have a less of a risk in terms of maneuverability. So, and that's important. Now, you also, when it comes to determining the right truck specs for your business, you have to really ask yourself what kind of loads you want to haul. Because before actually zero in on a semi for your business, you want to think about what kind of cargo you'll be hauling, which distances, state regulations, and whether or not you'll be sleeping in the cab. Okay. And one thing for sure, semi truck warranties can really help you out. So this is something that you need to really think about because this warranty is crucial, especially if you are going after a used truck. Semi truck warranties help cover costly repairs. So protecting your semi truck investment with a warranty will save you when you need it most. So this is something to really think about. Okay. And also, if you want to purchase from a reputable dealer, you want to understand that you want to really have inspections, warranties, financing options, and also after sales services and support. So buying from a non-reputable dealer can result in a truck that really needs significant repairs over time. So, in conclusion, to this conversation, I spoke to you about how to buy a semi truck. I gave you the generalities. I spoke to you a little bit about the acquisition process, the criteria to pay attention to, and finally, the conclusion. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.